Hi guys, today I'm going to go over lesson number 1 of the Angle Relationships unit. If you are in Math 7-8 Accelerated, this will say Math 7-8 Accelerated, and this will say Unit 11, but lesson number 1 is the same unit. So let's get started. Today's learning targets are, I can explore properties of complementary, supplementary, adjacent, and vertical angles. So first off, a right angle is 90 degrees, write that in, which is shown by a square in the corner. So when you see a square in a corner, that means that that angle is 90 degrees. Label the measurement of each angle below. Okay, so since there's a square in the corner, I'm going to label that as 90 degrees. Even though this next angle is rotated, it's still 90 degrees. Even though this next angle is rotated even further, since there's a square, it's 90 degrees. How many right angles can you find? All right, I'm going to give you guys a second. You can pause the video if you want. See how many right angles you can find in this picture. All right. The answer is there are 6 right angles. So if you got 6, that is correct. There's a hidden one right here. All right, moving on. To make a straight line, you can put together how many right angles? So let's see, how many right angles make a straight line? So here's a straight line right here. And if you look, it's 2 back-to-back right angles. So 2 right angles make a straight line. And since each right angle is 90 degrees, therefore a straight line is 180 degrees. If you add the two 90 degrees together, you'll get a sum of 180 degrees. So let's label the measurement of the angles below. So that's a straight line. A straight line has a measurement of 180 degrees. And even though it's rotated, the next line has a measurement of 180 degrees. And the next line has a measurement of 180 degrees. We know a right angle is 90 degrees. An angle that is less than 90 degrees, if it's less than 90 degrees, it's called an acute angle. An angle that is more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees is called an obtuse angle. So acute angles are less than 90, and obtuse angles are between 90 and 180 degrees. Label the following angles as straight, obtuse, right, or acute. All right, so this first angle, if I'm looking at this, this would be a 90-degree angle right here. And since this angle is wider than 90 degrees, that means that this angle is obtuse. This angle creates a corner. That is therefore a right angle. This line is a straight line. So this is 180 degrees. That is a straight angle. And this right here would be a 90-degree angle. So the angle that we are given is less than 90 degrees, so that is an acute angle. Label the following angles as straight, obtuse, right, or acute. So this is between 90 and 180, therefore it's obtuse. This is less than 90, therefore it is acute. This is greater than 90. It's between 90 and 180, so it is obtuse. This is exactly 90 degrees. If it's exactly 90 degrees, it is a right angle. 89 degrees is less than 90 degrees, so that would be acute. And then 180 degrees. 180 degrees would make up a straight line. So that is a straight angle. Okay, now we're going to talk about complementary angle pairs. Complementary angle pairs are 2 angles that add up to 90 degrees. So think about the sum of things that are 90 degrees. For example, if one angle is 30, the other angle would have to be 60. And together, those are complementary because they add up to 90 degrees. So if 2 angles add up to 90 degrees, they are complementary. The angle pairs below are complementary. Find the measurement of each missing angle. So here's the first pair of complementary angles, and they're asking for the measurement of angle A. So if this whole thing is 90 degrees, what is 90 degrees minus 50 degrees? It is 40 degrees. So the measurement of angle A has to be 40 degrees. Okay, here's another right angle. Right angles are 90 degrees. So what would angle B have to be? So you'd have to do 90, sorry, I'm using my mouse, minus 15, and you would end up getting 75 degrees. Next, these are also complementary angles. They're not next to each other, so you can't see that nice right angle with a square in the corner, but they are complementary angles. So we're trying to find the measurement of angle C. So we would do 90 minus 71, and we would get 19 degrees. All right, next. Supplementary angle pairs are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So now the sum has to be 180 degrees. So for example, if I have one angle that's 100 degrees, the other angle would have to be 80 degrees in order for them to be supplementary, because those two add up to 180 degrees. The angle pairs below are supplementary. Find the measurement of each missing angle. So here I see this is a straight line, and one of the angles is 45. And a straight line adds up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to do 180 degrees, and I'm going to take away 45. And that is how I find the measurement of angle X. And the measurement of angle X would have to be 135 degrees. All right, here's another straight line. Straight lines are 180 degrees. And I know this given angle is 83 degrees. So to find the measurement of angle Y, I'm going to have to do 180 minus 83. And I would get 97 degrees. And together, those would add up to a straight line of 180 degrees. Now, these are also supplementary angles. They're not right next to each other, so you don't see them on that nice line together, but it does say that they are supplementary. So to find out what the other angle is, I'm going to have to do 180 and subtract 112, and I end up getting 68 degrees. Okay, here's a little hint of how to remember complementary versus supplementary. Okay, so see the word complementary starts with a C. So complementary angles make a corner because a 90-degree angle makes a corner, and you see a little square in that corner. Another way to remember is complementary starts with a C. Here's a C right here. I can make that into 90 for 90 degrees. I'll show you that one more time. Here's a C for complementary. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles make all right, so here this is a straight line. Supplementary angles make a straight line, and straight lines add up to 180 degrees. So this S from supplementary, I can make into the 8 for 180 degrees. So I'll show you that one more time. Supplementary angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So complementary, add up to 90. Supplementary, add up to 180. Fill in the missing angles below. So when I find an angle's complement, C, that means they have to add up to 90 degrees. So if one of the angles is 20 degrees, I would have to do 90 minus 20, and the other angle would have to be 70 degrees. If one of the angles is 46 degrees, I would have to do 90 minus 46, and the other angle would be 44 degrees. All right, pause the video. I want you guys to try the next 4 on your own. Okay, so you should have gotten 68 degrees, 1 degree, 84 degrees, and 26 degrees. Next side, it says find the angle supplement. supplement, make sure you know that has to add up to 180 degrees. So if one of the angles is 140 degrees, I'm going to do 180 minus 140. Find out what's left over for that second angle, and the answer would be 40 degrees. If one of the angles is 5 degrees, I would have to do 180 minus 5, and the next angle would be 175 degrees. Okay, pause the video. I want you guys to do the last 4. All right, you should have gotten 80 degrees, 90 degrees, 135 degrees, and 1 degree. Angles that share a vertex and a side but do not overlap are called adjacent angles. So let's break this down. They have to share a vertex. That means they share a point. And they have to share a side. So they have to share a point and a side, but they cannot overlap. They can't like overlap each other. They have to be next to each other. So here we have a diagram of 2 adjacent yards. So your next door neighbor, if you live in a neighborhood, your next door neighbor is adjacent to you. If you live in an apartment, the people that are next to you that share a wall, they are adjacent to you. Now these 2 yards are adjacent to each other. And if I looked at these like angles, they share a vertex, they share a side, but they do not overlap because yards don't overlap. There's like property lines. So these 2 yards are adjacent to each other because they share a side and the properties don't overlap. I'll give you a second to write that down. All right, let's keep going. Circle all the words that apply to each angle pair. So are these angles right next to each other? Yes, they share a vertex, they share a side, and they don't overlap with each other. So they are adjacent. Are they complementary or supplementary? Well, they add up to 90, so that means they are complementary. Are these angles next to each other? Are they adjacent or non-adjacent? These angles are not next to each other. They don't share a side. If you look at the sides, I'm going to highlight them real quick. Those 2 angles don't share any sides, so they are non-adjacent. They're not next to each other. What would they add up to? They would add up to 180, so they would be supplementary. All right, next one. Are these angles adjacent or non-adjacent? Well, they share a vertex, they share a side, and they do not overlap with each other, so therefore they are adjacent. And are they complementary or supplementary? Well, they add up to 180, which makes them supplementary. Are these angles adjacent or non-adjacent? Well, here are the sides of this angle. Here are the sides of the second angle. They do not share a side, which means they are non-adjacent. They're not right next to each other. Are they complementary or supplementary? They add up to 90 degrees, so that means they are complementary. Okay, so here's Ronald. Here's his homework. He got this first one correct, but he got number 2 wrong. So let's talk about it. Ronald is told that he has the wrong answer for question number 2. What is the correct answer for question number 2? What mistake did Ronald make? So Ronald's answer for the measurement of angle B was 7 degrees. Here's the thing. This is a straight line. And if this angle is 7 degrees, then these 2 angles would only add up to 90 degrees. But a straight line has to add up to 180 degrees. So what is the correct answer for question number 2? You're going to have to do 180 minus 83 and see what value really should be given to angle B. And the answer is 97 degrees. What mistake did Ronald make? Well, Ronald thought that these 2 angles added up to 90. What is the name of angles that add up to 90 degrees? Complementary. Ronald thought that these were complementary angles, but in fact, they are actually supplementary angles. So Ronald found the complement instead of the supplement. He did 90 degrees minus 83 degrees. We'll give you a second to write that down. All right, moving on. Pause if you need more time, but I'm going to keep going. When two lines cross, here are two lines that are crossing, the angles opposite each other, which I've highlighted two such angles right here, are called vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent, meaning they have the same measurement. If one vertical angle is 60 degrees, then the other vertical angle is, well, I just told you that they're congruent, so they have the same measurement. So if one of the angles is 60, the other vertical angle will also be 60 degrees. So just showing you guys how it looks on this diagram, if one vertical angle is 60 degrees, the other vertical angle is 60 degrees. The angles opposite each other. Question, are vertical angles adjacent to each other? Do they share any sides? So here is one of the angles, and here is the other angles. Do they share any side? No. They share this vertex right here, but they don't share a side. So no, they do not share a side. They are not adjacent to each other. All right, moving on. How can we find the measurement of the second pair of vertical angles? So we know both of these are 60 degrees. How can we find what the pink angles are on this diagram? Well, these two angles, the blue angle and the pink angle, are adjacent to each other on a straight line. So here's a straight line. And we know that straight lines add up to 180 degrees, right? So these two angles are adjacent to each other on a straight line, which means that they are supplementary angles that add up to 180 degrees. So therefore, to find this missing pink angle, all I would have to do is be like, okay, what is 180 degrees minus 60 degrees? And you would get 120 degrees. So this missing angle, let's label it, is actually 120 degrees, which means that its vertical angle is also 120 degrees because vertical angles are congruent. They have the same measurement. All right. If the measurement of angle Y is 40 degrees, label all four angles. All right, no problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find angle Y and I'm going to label it 40 degrees. If angle Y is 40 degrees, then its vertical angle is also 40 degrees. Which angle is vertical to angle Y? Angle W. So let's label angle W as 40 degrees. Okay, now we have to find the angles X and Z. Now keep in mind that this is a straight line and straight lines add up to 180 degrees. So to find this missing angle X, I would just have to do 180 degrees minus 40 degrees. And what's left over is 140 degrees. So that means that angle X would have to be 140 degrees. And if angle X is 140 degrees, its vertical angle is also 140 degrees. Okay. If angle A is acute, which other angle is acute? Well, if angle A is acute, the other angle that would have to be acute is angle C, because they are which kind of angles? Vertical angles, which means they are the same. What's the word for the same in geometry? Congruent. If angle A is acute, angle C is acute because they are vertical angles, which means they are congruent. What is the relationship between B and C? Okay, are they vertical angles? Let's see, B and C. So here's B and C. They fall in this line together. Do they look vertical? Well, there's B, there's C. Nope, these are not vertical angles. What kind of angles are they? They make a straight line. They are supplementary angles. They make up a straight line, which means they blank up to blank. They add up to 180 degrees. Fill in all four angles if the measurement of angle D is 122 degrees. All right, so find angle D and write in that we know it is 122 degrees. Okay, if we know that angle D is 122 degrees, which other angle has to be 122 degrees? Angle B, because they are vertical angles. Now we can find angle A by noting that this is a straight line, and straight lines add up to 180 degrees. So if we do 180 minus 122, we will find out what angle A is. So go ahead and do that. Find out what angle A is. Okay, you should get 58 degrees. So angle A is 58 degrees, and if angle A is 58 degrees, angle C is also 58 degrees because those are vertical angles. Okay, try on your own. I want you guys to pause the video and I want you to fill in all missing angles in the diagrams below. Go ahead and pause the video and then unpause it when you're all set. All right, let's go over the answers. So if angle 32 is vertical to angle A, then angle A is also 32. And then to find these other angles, I'd have to do 180 minus 32 and I'd find they're 148. Okay, if this angle is 51 and it's vertical to angle U is also 51 degrees. And then to find out these missing angles, I'd have to do 180 minus 51, and I'd find out that they're both 129 degrees. How many degrees are in a circle? The answer is 360 degrees. All right, fill in the missing angles in the diagrams below. So if an entire circle is 360 degrees, and this portion of the circle is 75 degrees, you're going to have to do 360 degrees minus 75 degrees to find out what angle X is. So go ahead and find that out. And the answer is 285 degrees. All right, here we have half of a circle, 180 degrees, and then this much of the circle's 108 degrees. They're asking how much angle Y would be. So we can always start with 360 and subtract the angles that we were given and find out what is left. So go ahead and find out what angle Y would be. And you should have found that it is 72 degrees. All right, moving on. Okay, so let's look at this diagram. It says pants, which is fun. Okay, which pair of angles are vertical angles? Now, there's only one pair of angles that are vertical angles. Does anyone see them? So could it be S and something? No, because it would have to be a combination of these two. It would have to be P and T. They're vertical angles because when two lines cross, the angles opposite each other are vertical angles. So angle P and angle T. Yes, you do need those angle signs. Okay, which angle is an adjacent supplement to angle P? Adjacent means next to. Supplement means they have to add up to 180 degrees. So which angle is next to angle P and creates a straight line that would add up to 180 degrees? Which angle is next to angle P? They share a side. They don't overlap, and they add up to 180. It'd have to be angle S. Okay, number 3, find the measurement of angle S. Well, I see a straight line right here. Straight lines add up to 180 degrees. This part's 82. So maybe you can do 180 minus 82 and find angle S. Go for it. Okay, you should find that it is 98 degrees. Whenever you find the angle, write it right into your diagram. It really helps when you're solving for other angles. Find the measurement of angle P. Well, I don't need to do any math for this one because we said P and T are vertical angles. So if T is 82 degrees, angle P has to be 82 degrees. Go ahead and write that right in there. 82 degrees. I know that this whole angle is 98 degrees. I know that this whole angle, therefore, has to be 98 degrees. So to find angle A, I could do 98 degrees minus the 55 degrees that were already used up by angle N. And whatever's left over is for angle A. So go ahead and do that subtraction. Find out how many degrees are left for angle A. All right, you should get 43 degrees. So we're going to do 43 degrees. Find the sum of all of the angles. So I want you guys to go ahead, add up all 5 angles. Add up all 5 angles. What would you get? Okay, you should get 360 degrees because these angles all together make up a circle. Okay, try this on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and then come back to this video to see if you got the correct answers. All right, you're back. Which angle is adjacent supplement to angle W? So angle W is right here. We wanted the angle that was next to it that shared a wall, didn't overlap, and adds up to 180, and that would be angle S. Are angle P and angle Y adjacent? Well, let's take a look. Here's angle P, and here's angle Y. Do those share a side? No. So no, they're not adjacent. They don't share a side. Find the measurement of angle S. All right, well, for angle S, I see that this is a straight line. Straight lines add up to 180. If this angle is 45, I could just do 180 minus 45, and I'd find angle S. So it'd be 135 degrees. Find the measurement of angle W. Well, there's a couple ways of doing this, but angle P and angle W are vertical angles, so they have the exact same measurement. So if angle P is 45 degrees, angle W is 45 degrees. Find the measurement of angle Y. Well, there's a few ways to do this, but let me go through it. Here are 2 lines that cross each other. This angle has to be the same as these 2 angles. So if this angle is 135, then this entire thing has to add up to 135. But 50 degrees is already used up here. So if I do 135 and I subtract 50, that's how I'll find out how many degrees are left for angle Y. And the answer is 85 degrees. Which angles are acute? Acute means less than 90. So I see angle P is acute, angle R is acute, less than 90. Angle Y is acute, that's less than 90. Angle W is acute, that's less than 90. So almost every single angle is acute except angle S. Angle S is obtuse because it's between 90 and 180 degrees. All right, here's your target practice. Find and label the measurement of each missing angle. So I want you guys to pause it and then unpause it when you're ready for the answers. All right, so this is a right angle. Right angles add up to 90. So to find out the missing angle, I'm going to have to subtract, and I get 36 degrees. This is a straight line. Straight lines add up to 180. So to find out what the missing angle is, I'm going to subtract, and I get 90 degrees. This is a pair of vertical angles, if I look here and here. So if this angle is 82 degrees, then angle D is also 82 degrees. And then if I look even further, here is a straight line. Straight lines add up to 180 degrees. So if I'm trying to find angle C, I'm going to do 180 minus 82, and I'll get 98 degrees. And if angle C is 98 degrees, then angle E is also 98 degrees because these are vertical angles as well. And there are your answers. All right, you guys can go ahead and start your homework.